Every additional egg that they lay is another step away from any kind of dependence on the grocery store. So a couple of days ago, I'm reading this article about the avian flu spread and the skyrocketing price of eggs. Guten yardening, everybody. Well, when I see articles like this, and I'm going to go more in depth on this article here in just a little bit, but it makes us even more grateful for the ever-expanding covey that we have inside our garage. And so in this video, we're going to show you some of our new cages that we've built from scratch. We're going to show you our ever-expanding covey, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about those skyrocketing egg prices that are not having the same impact on us. Before I get up close, I want to show you what our current setup looks like here from a distance, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about where we are with our expanding covey size. And if you've been tracking us on our website, you'll know that we are now up to 52 quail, and all of that coming after we started with a mere 6, because we've been continuously hatching and collecting eggs. In fact, if you take a look at our website, you will see that we are now up over 700 eggs collected. And right now, based on the new quail that are just starting to lay, and you can see right in here, we have 2 eggs. We are up to a potential of 17 eggs per day. And the only reason it's so low with our 52 quail is that some of these are still not quite to the age where they'll start laying eggs as well. And for us, for breakfast, for a family of 4, a nice size scramble is about 2 dozen eggs. And so we're almost to the point where we're going to be getting a full breakfast every single day. And this is where that article on the avian flu spread comes in, because as I was just perusing the news, it really popped out at me. The article states that the avian flu has now spread to 27 states and that the price of eggs has more than doubled from just a few months ago. In fact, it has a really great chart on here. You can see it shows the current price of eggs. Now, there is expectation that this will come back down as we head into summer and as the cases hopefully start to fall. But I went to the store this morning and I stopped over at the egg section just to confirm what was being said in this article, and I found it to be 100% accurate. Those prices have really gone up. And that makes the production that's coming from these quail, and remember, this is just the starting level of production. While this quail has been producing now for about a month and a half, a lot of the other ones aren't there yet. So that makes this production even more important of these quail to also be beneficial to us. So we have these quail in our garage, and what that means for us is that they are minimally at risk for exposure to the avian flu. And so we're not really at the same level of risk at all, and that's excellent for us. Now the quail are excited because I'm taking a look in here. These are some of our younger ones that just came out here. And that low level of risk is very important to us. Now, our feed costs have not actually gone up. We're paying the same amount per bag that we were when we started. And so that's pretty important too, because that's where some of that cost increase is coming in for these eggs. But for us, we're pretty much at a flat line at this point. And I'm still not ready to talk about the exact cost per egg. I really want to do some good calculation with that so you can see what that is. But I know for a fact as those egg prices continue to go up, they become even more beneficial to us here, especially as our numbers continue to increase in terms of egg production. All right, now I've mostly been zoomed in on these 2 new cages so far, but I want to show you what we've got here, because these are 2 all-wire cages built after the design that we found from the Coturnix Corner video about building all-metal cages. And we're going to link that video in the description. It's a great video, and we actually had very little problem following the steps to build our own cages. These all-wire cages, by the way, are really fantastic. They're certainly sturdy enough, and we did have to invest in the 2 different types of wire. We had to buy these online because this 1/2 inch by 1 inch vinyl coated wire is not exactly easy to find at the store, but we have plenty of this wire left over so that we can build a whole bunch more of these cages, and that makes the cost per cage really nice and low. And we'll do a video where we break down the exact cost, including these waste trays that were really not that difficult to find when we went to Advanced Auto Parts. And one of the things we've done with these all-wire cages in order to prevent the waste from going out and spreading everywhere is we put that same terrace board that we put on our other cages, a 5-inch terrace board on the sides to create a kind of poop shield here. And the other thing that we did, and this was also suggested, although I don't think Coturnix Corner showed his solution, he talked about some clamps to keep these doors, these panels closed easily. We've just been using these small little binder clips and it works just fine. It's a really easy solution to keep the front piece of this closed. And as you can see, I've got plenty of room here. I've actually got to build another cage and get it set up on here. And so these are a fantastic setup for us, one that we didn't have a lot of difficulty building, and they can house, well, you can see on this side alone, we have a dozen quail. So each one of these has plenty of space, and while we don't have a dozen in each side yet, I mean, we have plenty of room now, and they are perfectly content in here. You can see the nice thing about this vinyl on the bottom, just like the vinyl that is a part of our Winola cage, it's nice so that it doesn't impact their feet in a negative way. In past videos, we did talk a little bit about that ideal ratio of roos to hens, that 5-to-1 or 4-to-1 ratio, but what we found is that we are learning a lot about the temperament of these quail. And it's not just the male quail who can be a little bit aggressive here with our Coturnix quail. If you look closely, you can see the back of this roo's head, and there is some substantial damage there. And so there have been a couple of times where we've had to take quail out and isolate them a little bit. These 3 hens made the decision to reject that male that I had up there after being just fine with them for quite some time. And so again, sometimes they're fine together, other times, you know, for whatever reason, they just don't get along. And then we separate them just so they have time to heal. We want to make sure that they have time to calm down. I guess that's another way. And then we figure out where is a good fit for them afterwards. So sometimes it's easy to put a quail in with others and they get along and adapt just fine. Other times when they're not getting along so well, that's when we have some additional learning to do. We find the best spot for them. That's our goal. We want to keep them happy. We want to keep them laying. That comes back to this idea of saving money in the long term and really helping ourselves out and protecting ourselves from those rising egg costs. After all, every additional egg that they lay is another step away from any kind of dependence on the grocery store. Well, we hope you enjoyed this video today, and if you did, don't forget to give us a like, leave us a comment, remember to share and subscribe, and most importantly, remember, when you're with us, you are good to grow.